Hello everyone, my name is Assad.
I'm Sarah.
And this is 2/3 of Last Second C, and we have a big announcement, right?
We do?
Yeah, Last Second C has finally made a Patreon and pivoted to YouTube memberships.
Fire, what does that mean?
That means if you become a member on either, you get early access to all of the content on our page. Do you know what that includes?
Oh, yes, I do. Okay, we got web series. We got Gray Area, starring us.
Yes.
Which is fun.
It's
and a
good time.
lot of other people.
It's a great time.
And then we got what else?
Reggie.
Reggie.
Jazz
We've
the Rapper,
got
Lou Castro.
Trial and Error.
Ace Amin, Loso, Geechee Gotti. Yes.
Come on.
We have rap battles on our page, a lot more coming that you will get early access to. We got battle rap breakdowns from Daylight, Geechee, and we also have the newly launched Dirty in the Frame podcast starring none other than Sarah Rebecca Stouffer. Not sure you wanted people knowing your middle name, but there it is. Please consider becoming a member today where you do get this early access and we can continue bringing you great content that we love.
Yes, we love to make it, and I think you guys like to watch it, and it's not free, so please help us out. We love you guys. Thank you so much for considering subscribing, and we will see you on the screen. Hi, guys. Welcome to Dirtying the Frame.
We're so back.
We're back, baby. Guys, this is going to be rusty because
Super rusty.
Assad just left for 2 weeks.
Guys, we were both in different countries. Our subscribers don't know. Our loyal 17 fans of the DTF podcast, which is growing rapidly, didn't know we were both out of the country. Me in Canada, Sarah in Greece, because we had some stock podcasts we hope you guys enjoyed. But now we're back.
We're back and we're live with a review of a movie again. And the movie we're reviewing is called Dumb Money. There it is.
There you go. Good squat.
Dumb Money.
Torshal says salute from Kenya. My favorite channel on YouTube, guys. Holy cow.
Hello. What time is it in Kenya?
Ooh, yeah. What time is it in Kenya? We're your favorite channel on YouTube? Do you know about Mr. Beast?
Did you see that they did like a deep fake of him? Somebody did a deep fake and used it as an ad?
Is that right?
AI's coming for you.
Ooh, we might have something to speak about AI in another movie later on, but not yet. Not yet.
Wait.
That's the M.I. Antonio Banderas voice. Sarah, you're home. Our fans our supporters like us to get right into the movie, but it's nice to have you home and being domestic again.
Thank you. Not domesticated.
Not domesticated, never. You listen to too much Beyonce for that.
Could never. That's all I got. My Beyonce references are 20 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the movie, friends. We're talking about Dumb Money. This is the logline. Dumb Money is the ultimate David versus Goliath tale based on the insane true story of everyday people who flipped the script on Wall Street and got rich by turning GameStop, the video game store, in case you don't know, into the world's hottest company. What do we think of that logline? It said flipped the script. When was the last time you heard that term used? Oh, that sounds like something I would say. This table's a little backwards. Shall I turn it?
You gotta hold this up. I'm thumbnailing.
Guys,
You
don't
gotta
worry.
hold this up for a minute.
I've got notes. I do my research. I don't think Assad does. All right. First thoughts. I'll start. Did we like it? Here are my first thoughts. I walked out of the theater. Okay, first and foremost, I guess, sorry. I'm a little rusty, as I said. We saw this movie together at Alamo, downtown LA, my home, my favorite place. And it was a perfect place to see a movie like this, I feel like. It's a smaller movie, you know. Yeah, and my first reaction leaving was, that was exactly what I thought it would be. Totally mid. It was totally mid. I didn't think it was going to be bad. I didn't think it was going to be good, and that's exactly where it landed. It was like Chipotle. It was like, easy and just good enough. But Assad, are you done doing whatever you're doing? Can you tell us your first thoughts?
Yeah. I would like to tell everybody, Sarah and I started a podcast at the worst possible time to start a movie podcast. We were led astray by the Boppenheimer craze. That we did well. That was perfect timing. The biggest thing happening in movies that year. After that, it's been the dregs. There hasn't been shit, Sarah.
But
you're looking at yourself, huh? In the TV?
No.
Okay.
I was looking at you
Thank
in the
you.
TV. And boy, did I like what I saw. No, but I was going to say, I was excited because we got some good trailers because, all the big movies come out around Christmas time. So we got some good ones coming. We're just like a month away from Thanksgiving, holiday, Christmas movies. We're going to get some good stuff again.
Yeah. First thoughts when I left this movie was, we are back to the days. Barbie and Oppenheimer, we didn't deserve it. Okay. Without that, this has been a terrible movie year, right? I hate to be negative. I know we're back. You thought the happiness would last for a while. We both went on vacation, and I'm back being old man. God damn it. Listen.
Assad's about to just roast this film.
Listen, Sarah, my whole life is waiting for Killers of the Flower Moon. All right, this was just another movie to make me wait for Killers of the Flower Moon because, and that's exactly what this movie was. It was more to time me over. And this movie, first thoughts for me is, I'm not comfortable with movies being made this quickly after things happen like this. I know it's the Hulufication of like someone gets shot, then Hulu has an 8-part series like at midnight that same night about it.
That's impressive.
Yeah, very impressive, Hulu. I don't know what you guys do besides do the shooting, but
my God, that's a wild take, by the way. What a great idea.
Hulu people are running out of content, so they're like, let's go shoot somebody.
Yeah, we'll create our own like viral moments. They're just gonna go around and be like, I'm gonna commit this crime, so we'll start laying the groundwork now. I'll write the script, we'll start shooting, metaphorically and literally in this scenario, and then it'll be ready, and right after it happens. How do they do it so fast?
Let us find out that Hulu was responsible for the Fire Festival.
Apparently those people are throwing another one. And
Fire 2, you're not going?
Get a ticket, I tried.
Oh, okay. In all honesty, Jericho says, are we doing top 5 horror films for Halloween? Jericho's been one of our best supporters of the DTF podcast. Thank you so much, Jericho. Here's the one thing that might make you hate us at the DTF podcast.
They know.
Sarah and I are not big on horror. Jericho, you've been so loyal to us, though, we might have to do it. What do you think, Sarah?
For Halloween.
Sarah, what's your version of a horror movie? A movie that doesn't have musicals?
Yes. Oh my God, that's exactly what I was going to say. There's not a musical or like a dance number, a musical interlude at least.
Yeah.
I'm out.
If Sarah watches a movie and it doesn't have a musical break within 12 minutes, it jump scares her. Where's the music? God damn it. We will do it, though. For Halloween, we will do it. We're going to do a horror-ish podcast. But sorry we're everywhere because we're excited that we're back. We haven't seen each other in forever. But first thoughts on Dumb Money. I couldn't get over the fact that this just happened recently, I think 2 or 3 years ago. And thank God another movie that had COVID in the background as a story device. We didn't get enough of those. Give me more COVID movies, please. Thought this lacked a unique voice. I thought it was like a cheap Big Short. I thought it casted good actors in the very, very worst roles they could play. It's so weird when that happens. I almost would rather a bad actor in a bad role than seeing Paul Dano, who's a really good actor, not even coming close to having this character work for him. Sorry to start negative, Sarah, but very underwhelming.
We're used to it. It's fine.
Yeah, sorry.
Curmudgeon.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, I agree with about 50% of what you said. I did not hate this movie. I thought this movie was exactly what I expected, which was it was entertaining and it wasn't too long. Like if it was this movie, if they had made it 3 hours long, I would have been so pissed. It's not great. The story wasn't great, but it moved quick enough. The actors were good, like you said, miscast, which we can get into, but I had an okay time, which is exactly what I expected from this film.
That's a good point. It wasn't a drag.
No.
Yeah.
It wasn't a drag. I had an okay time. And you know what bothers me? I don't know why it bothers you to have movies come out like timely. I don't understand that anger and aggression within you. Maybe you should seek help, like therapy.
I don't need help.
I just found out from my therapist that people get angry when they are afraid. So like if you get really mad and you start screaming at somebody or you have road rage, it's because you're actually just like something scared you. So what is it about? Let's make this a therapy hour with Sarah and Assad. What are you so scared of, Assad?
I don't work like most people. I don't get angry because I'm afraid. I get afraid because I'm angry.
I get afraid when you get angry.
Yeah.
By the way, Killers of the Flower Moon is coming out on your birthday. I arranged that.
Thank you. Oh, you called Leo?
No, I called Bob.
Oh, yeah. Who's Bob?
De Niro. Sorry, I call him Bob.
Oh,
Robert De Niro. You may know him as Robert. But, his friends call him.
You layman's know him as Robert. Guys, we missed a lot of stuff. The writing strike's over. Sarah was in Greece. But we're back, and we are back shitting on movies. We don't want to become this podcast. We genuinely like movies. It's just been a pretty down year for film. And I don't know, Sarah. I guess what I'm saying is when an event happens in real life and they make a movie about it recently, I'm always like, oh, there's no creativity involved in this. And that's a huge reason why I go to films. It's because it allows me to witness someone else's creativity. And when I go to films like this, although I recognize the niche form, I recognize the use form, it's like, oh, there's no new thoughts in this. They're just documenting what happened, and it's not a documentary.
But don't you want variety in your films?
I do, and I liked The Big Short. I think that time from when it happened to when they made the movie was a little bit more. But nowadays it happens so quick now, and because like this is the cousin of IP, it's like, oh, if it's not a movie or name or remake that the people don't know, let's take an instance that people know. And then movies and TV shows get made a little bit easier that way. It's like a workaround for IP. But I don't know. It didn't have a new voice. It was just like, oh, cool. You told me what happened 2 years ago.
I have a question.
Yes.
What would you feel if they took the concept of what actually happened and then kind of used it as inspiration to create their own fictional story about it? Like, how some movies will say like most of this, or it's like based on a true story, or most of this is real, or whatever. What do you prefer that?
It's so tough, this is my curmudgeon corner, which is a new segment.
Honestly.
I know.
No, but we want you to be honest. It's fine.
Some of this stuff works for me, but it's usually like The Big Short, And here's the thing. You and I are acting sluts. If you can get an actor pulling off a good role in this movie, it would have saved the movie for me. But there was nowhere to look. And I'm here to report DTF followers, which need to come up for a name for our DTF followers. Are you thinking about any? DTFers? I don't know. I'm here to report, guys, update. Emma Stone is no longer the most hated woman by Sarah Stouffer any longer.
What are you going to say now? Who?
Shailene Woodley is now far away in the lead. I don't know why. She's a wholesome actress. She does a great job, and Sarah hates on her. And would you care to share why, Sarah?
I don't hate... you know what? Fine. I don't love Shailene Woodley.
Hate her.
I hate her. No, I don't hate her. I just think she's fine.
Okay.
She's fine.
Okay.
And who wants fine when you could have great or exciting or Margot Robbie?
This is how I feel about this movie. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's just fine.
Meh was the word I used.
Yeah, and I think...
That's not a word.
I'm going to get to the positive stuff. I don't want to always just be like blasting shit. I don't even know why Seth Rogen's in that movie.
Yeah, that's a great question. I thought the same thing. And then same thing with, I don't know his name, but Megan Mullally's husband from Parks and Rec that everybody loves.
Maury Mullally.
He's you know who I'm talking about.
I do.
Guy. He whittles wood and drinks whiskey.
Can we keep this segment going?
Yeah. You loved him in that FX show. What was that called?
Oh, yeah.
With all the lights?
It was called Devs. Really cool.
Devs, yeah. I didn't.
Great stoner watch.
Nick Offerman.
Ooh.
Took me a second, but I got there. Yeah, those two. I mean, Nick was in it less, and he was quieter, But yeah, Seth Rogen. It was very strange. We might have thrown Seth Rogen onto top 5 actors that Hollywood doesn't know what to do with now, because when he was the stoner guy, that was great. But now it's like, what are we doing? I don't know why you did this. Whatever. We'll move on. So first thoughts were both of us, well, I was a little more positive. I thought it was exactly what I expected. I had a decent time. I wouldn't tell anyone, like, go spend your last $20 on going to see this movie. But, you know, that's fine. Sometimes you just want to, like, go and escape for a while, and it worked for that, and there were some good moments, and there were some bad things, and let's get into those.
Hey, really quick, Jericho gave us $5 in our super chat. Thank you, Jericho.
Thank you.
He said me 2-1 over Geechee. You had Geechee beating me, right?
Yeah, always. I like Geechee better as a person than I like you.
And a battler.
But, you know, for the people who follow this for movies and don't know what the hell we're talking about, just fast forward two times.
Thank you, Jericho. Appreciate it, honestly. Thank you for supporting our pod. Go ahead, Sarah.
Thank you. I think that Jericho also tried to send us $2 the other day, and I was the only one running the chat because you were doing something busy and important, and I didn't know how to accept the money. And he was like, don't get too excited. It's just $2. And I was like, I want that money. I'm very excited. I'm sorry I'm yelling. I'm really happy to be here, guys.
I know we missed the pod, guys. We missed the pod. You guys don't see it because we scheduled out some pods, but we hope you liked the list, like the top 5 of a couple pods. We had fun doing those.
Hey, who's going to edit this? Because I got to be on a plane at 4 a.m.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Let's do it.
No.
I got it.
I said, who's going to edit it?
Oh.
Okay, this movie was kind of fun, and it was short. So we're grateful for that.
Those are 2 things like you.
I'm more than kind of fun. I'm very fun. And short. No one said cute. I just added that. I really like Anthony Ramos. He's in this movie.
Who's Anthony Ramos? What did he play?
He is the GameStop guy.
Oh.
The mask.
Oh, I genuinely like him.
I really like him.
Hated him in this.
Well, you know what? No surprise there.
You didn't think what they had him doing, the classic boozy Ratchet, was too much?
Yeah, I mean, at the end, when he left, the first time he did it was fine, but at the end, it was a little, we're pushing. But here's the thing, right? Your director tells you to do it. The script says, you know, it's in there. Like, you got to do it, and I think that he pulled it off. Does that make sense? Like, he made a cringe moment that was written in the script look somewhat genuine.
Hey, Sarah, Danny Myers is in our chat. You know, we got to bring him on here. He's such a big film head.
Oh, he is?
Danny knows movies very, very well. Danny, thank you for dropping by in the chat. He knows a lot about films. We got to bring him in.
I got an idea.
What's your idea?
I got some buzzers with his name on it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we might have to do a game show, test Danny's movie trivia. Yeah, I like Anthony Ramos a lot, but there's it's weird what's happening with film right now because there's so many talented actors, but not many good roles, as we usually lament on this podcast. We find a lot of our people, and that's why we did the top 5 actors Hollywood doesn't know what to do with. There's so many actors out there where I'm like, Anthony Ramos should be the star of something. I don't know what it is.
Oh, he was.
But of what?
In the Heights.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And a Crown Royal commercial with a Crown Royal commercial, and he was in A Star is Born with Lady Gaga.
He killed that.
Yes.
I just think he should be in a bigger movie.
Yeah, and hopefully this is leading to that.
Yeah. How did you feel about, I mean, I guess I should ask you, and I don't want to throw you off if you're still going on a segment here, but where were you during this whole GameStop thing? Were you keen to it? Were you just like, what the hell's going on?
It was a little bit in my peripheral because your brother is really into Reddit, and he, I think he was like, he had put some money into GameStop, so he would always, every time I'd see him, he would be telling us about that. So I was like aware of it, but I wasn't very into it. But I know I'd heard like Diamond Hands.
Yeah.
He explained that to me. So I don't know. I thought it was a cool, weird idea, but you know, the pandemic was a weird time, man. We were all really bored. Didn't have a lot on our plates. So
I was hanging out with you during the pandemic, and you weren't really bored. You were living it up.
I was. I did a puzzle. Cool.
Guys, Sarah during the pandemic, speaking of investments, because of this whole GameStop thing, she really got into it. She put money into what clothing store?
Ooh, that didn't age well.
Would you like to tell the people?
That investment didn't age well, but it was doing great for a second. The Gap, because of a Kanye, we will not name his last name. Yeah, I put like $40 into the Gap, and it really, for a minute there, because, you know, Kanye came out with those puffers and everything for the Gap, and it was good for a moment in time, and then I still have it. Diamond hands. Tendies or something. You know what my favorite part about this movie was? The cats.
We both love a cat. Guys, this is a film podcast, but it was supposed to be a cat podcast. We both love cats.
We did some market research, and by that I mean we asked 3 of our friends if they would listen to our podcast if we talk about cats, and they said no.
Yeah, we both do love cats. Corshall says, it's crazy the budget for Dumb Money was $30 million. EK and Sarah can make 5 Oscar caliber films with that. Well, thank you.
God bless you. That's absolutely true. We love you. That's very nice of you to say. Oh my gosh, 30 mil, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not too heavy on talent. Like, whenever there's like a Jared Leto movie that's 30 mil, I'm like, oh, okay, 10 million went to him.
What?
You know?
What?
But there's not a huge star in this film, you know?
Well, let's see. But there were several names, right? So they all got paid. Like Shailene Woodley is getting a good amount of money. America Ferrera, maybe not as much because probably Barbie hadn't been, you know, come out by the time they made this.
What a year for her.
What'd you say?
What a year for her.
Oh yeah, I really like her. I watch Ugly Betty. I love that show. And I think she's great. Yeah, I think there was enough, like, you know, Pete Davidson and Paul Dano, and I think there was enough, like, kind of names that got spread out. What I'm more impressed with is, like, look at the like, where did they shoot? There was no big set pieces or expenses, but I guess that's just what it costs to make a movie these days.
Yeah, for sure.
Please give us $30 million.
I'm getting, you gave us $30 million, do you know what I'm getting? Say it on 3. 1, 2, 3. Face tats. Oh, I thought you would know.
I was going to say a Tesla truck, a bunch of shoes.
No, face tats. I'm getting so many face tats with $30 million.
30 mil? How much do tattoos cost?
Well, I'm just saying, if that ensures that I don't ever have to work again, so I'd get a face tat.
No, everyone has face tats now.
Okay, all right.
So 2000 and late.
Caliber, thank you for the super sticker. I would love to come on Is We Pod and Podcast. DM me anywhere, Instagram, Twitter.
What about me?
But
I'm a
Sarah
way better
has to come on too. That's the thing. But I'd love to. Thanks for the super sticker.
Here's the thing, right? You get Assad and you get negative curmudgeon. You get positive, bubbly.
Yeah.
Short shirts.
Yeah. Short shirts. We'll come on your pod, Caliber.
I got a closet full of them. Just kidding. Sorry, this is just going off the rails. We haven't talked about this movie at all.
Well, it's because we're live, and I want to acknowledge the people commenting because it means a lot to us when you guys are in the chat. Honestly, this is one of our favorite pods that we do. And Jericho says, is Paul Dano considered an A-list actor in y'all opinion?
No.
I'm not even sure it's B-list. Would you?
You know, let me preface it with this. No, I don't think he's probably. Oh, God, that's tough. This feels bad to say, but yeah, I would guess maybe B- list. Like, I wouldn't call him C list.
His last couple movies, like he was the villain in the Batman, right? And then he had the Steven Spielberg movie, which is huge. You know, he's like the lead of the Steven Spielberg. I guess Michelle Williams was the lead of that film. But for me, okay, here's a take for me, Sarah. Batman villains or like villains in superhero movies, I don't think they're that hard to play. And no disrespect to Heath Ledger's Joker, but for the most part, when people are acting crazy to me in film, I'm like, that's pretty easy to act crazy, you know? So I don't ever give it that much credit. But Paul Dano doesn't really feel like an A-list actor to me. I don't think he can support a movie by himself as proof of dumb money. Your thoughts?
I think he's a very good actor. This is why it pains me, right? Because he was in Little Miss Sunshine, right? That was him. Do you remember?
I don't know. I gotta double check. I only saw
love that movie.
Once.
I'm almost 100% positive he was in that, and he played the brother, and he was just like perfect in that, man. Like, I think he plays very believable. I never see him working. He makes very interesting choices. He seems very genuine. That being said, I don't think he's like A-list actor. I think like big names, you know, Scarlett Johansson, Brie Larson, Adam Driver that I hate, Matt Damon, you know, big stars that everybody's going to know their names. But I do think he's a great actor. But I don't think he's been in that much stuff to, you know, become an A-list actor or even maybe, I don't think a lot of people know who he is.
Yeah. I will say one of the other kind of the critical, not the critical flaw, one of the critical flaws of this movie for me is I think this is a miscast for the lead. I think Paul Dano playing this person was a miscast. And I would like to think of other people that did it, but I didn't do my homework. For me, yeah, charming is so hard to pull off. And I don't think he was necessarily supposed to be charming, this guy in real life, because when they showed real footage of him at the end, he wasn't that charming. But a big thing is why he starts this momentum with the GameStop stock is that he kind of unifies people through his personality. And that doesn't come across at all in the film. For me, it didn't. And I'm like, oh, if I can't see what this guy has in the film, the whole movie falls apart from it, you know, because then everyone else is tuning in and be like, I love this guy. If he's in, I'm in. And I'm like, oh, I'm not even in on his performance, you know?
I agree. And I don't think that's his fault. I don't think he was a bad actor in it.
No.
But yeah, we both agreed on that. It was very strange. I never saw the actual guy who played this part. And I'm sure that was part of it. Like they wanted to cast someone who was, forgive me, you know, interesting looking or whatever you want to say. You know, he had long hair. I think he was probably supposed to be a little bit of a nerd or, you know, a little bit of an outcast or an everyman. But it was just weird to me. Like he kind of was, I didn't know what he was going for or what they were going for with his character. It was like this Boston guy who, I don't know, likes cats and like weird cat shirts. And he's kind of like quirky. And he'd like have a beer and tie a weird headband around his head and say weird stuff. But like, obviously he was supposed to be very lovable. And I assume that the actual guy was, since he, you know, kind of started this movement. And that's what they were trying to get across, I think, was that he was, the filmmakers really wanted the audience to fall in love with this main character. And I did a little. Did you
really?
Yeah, I did a little. I thought it was just a little disjointed. Like, I don't know who this guy is. Like, not that, you know, but I think to make a character breakdown, to make a character work in writing, and you can speak to this more than I can. I don't know the fundamentals of writing scripts and characters, but it seemed like, you know, there's certain things. There's stereotypes, there's archetypes, and you want to kind of hit on those. And his was like, I didn't know where he fit. It was very strange. It was like, he didn't really have a Boston accent, but some other people really had a Boston accent, which I guess if you go somewhere, you know, accents can vary. That's fine. But I just didn't get it. He seemed kind of soft and like quiet, soft-spoken, not like very brave or like I'm going to, you know, stick it to the man or anything. But then he did this big brave thing and yeah, I don't know. I didn't get it. Yeah, I would love to actually see the character breakdown.
Yeah, it didn't come across. And it led me to this question, right? So I wanted to ask you this. And to the people that follow our podcast, thank you. We try to do it like a beginner version of cinephiles. You know, me and Sarah aren't really cinephiles, but we do know a tiny bit about film and creating shows. And I wanted to ask you this question. When I see this performance from Paul Dano, what are ways that you can tell that it's either bad writing, bad performance, or bad directing? Now, this movie probably had it all, but is there things when you're watching it where you're like, oof, this performance isn't coming across? Is this the actor or the directing? Is there I'm putting you on the spot, but is there the ways that when you're watching a film that you can tell the difference?
Well, it's a really interesting question because that's what I do when I watch movies, kind of. I'll sit there and just be like, who fucked up here? Am I allowed to say fuck when we're live? I just said it twice.
Yeah,
Hi, Mom.
You're good.
No, sometimes it's hard to tell, and sometimes I'm like, oh, I think that was bad directing. You know, bad direction or bad writing or whatever. There's one thing that I would say I could take a stab at what makes me realize if someone's bad acting or not, and it's like, you know, when I was watching him, I believed everything he was saying. I believed he was this guy. I just didn't know who this guy was, which makes me think that the character was poorly written or they were going for something. And it's also hard when I imagine they have to, like, you know, they're trying to play a real person. So that might muddy the waters as well, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're too caught up in trying to do an impersonation of someone, you might lose track of what makes a good character rather than, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's kind of where I go, okay, this is bad writing. When you look at their eyes, I don't know, there's just something that I'm like, oh, I believe you. And there's other times when I'm watching people and I'm like, oh, this is bad writing and bad acting. Yeah, so I don't know if that really answers the question, but it's hard to pinpoint, but it's kind of fun to try and figure out what that is, you know?
Yeah, and to anyone who like critiques films or is loving TV shows, because we're in the golden age of TV shows, honestly, and I think Sarah can attest to this too, we make our own series and we've made films together. It's truly the most collaborative thing you'll ever do. Even with our small crew, it's very collaborative. So when I was young and didn't know anything about film and TV, I'd see a bad performance and just be like, that actor's bad. And it's oftentimes not that, you know? Me and Sarah make films and TV shows together, and I write a joke that I think is funny. Then that joke has to be worded funny, right? Then Sarah usually directs our talent. So Sarah has to direct our talent to say that word funny. And if, by God's grace, if like those two things happen, which is tough, because sometimes talent has their own way of saying it or doesn't get it, then we have to edit it funny too, you know? And that's just one way of like trying to, from like conception, soup to nuts, as they say, just to have like one joke be funny, let alone a whole performance, you know? There's like a lot of things that go into people's performances that sometimes you just think it's just acting, you know?
Well, not to, exactly. And I think that that's really who gets I imagine. I don't know, please tell us, comment, what do you think? When you see a movie, are you like, oh, bad actors? Or what do you think? You know, do you blame it on the writers? Do you blame it on, or do you just think, oh, that was a bad movie and don't think about that stuff because we're a little weird and we analyze things? But yeah, it's a really interesting point. And if not to mention that there's also angles and camera and all of those things, like movements, and there's so many elements that go into getting it perfect and right that it's hard to get it right.
Yeah, and who knows what gets left on the editing floor too, you know? Like, I remember, what's the Twilight guy's name?
Robert Pattinson?
Robert Pattinson saying Tenet, he had no idea what kind of film he was making. And it's so hard. A lot of actors over and over again will say they don't know if the movie's good while they're making it. You know, you just don't know because there's so many components. So not to put too fine of a point on it, but that's like one of the huger things I've learned while trying to make film and TV. And
I'll add something to that. I know, I'm sure everybody knows this, but when you're shooting a film or a television show, it's very rarely shot in order. So when you're talking about Tenet, I mean, who knows what order is the order, but you know, it's kind of like you're just out there doing these scenes and trying to catch up. And the other thing that is tough is that you can be a great actor, a decent actor, or a bad actor, and have a director who's the boss on set. They hired you. They are the person who they direct you. They're telling you what to do, how to perform. And I've been on several sets and I haven't been on a lot of sets, like big sets, where the director will be like, oh, do it like this. And you're just like, that's going to look so dumb. But you have to do what your boss is asking you to do. And you're just praying that they don't use that take, you know, that they use the other take that you liked better. But then, you know, if you do a take a certain way and that was the best acting take, maybe the sound was bad on that one, or the lights were weird, or the camera was soft, you know. So there's just so many things that go into making it a great film that makes you even more appreciate when somebody gets it right.
To bring it back to this film, Sarah, I think now we're in the age of like, there's so many actors out there that are going to get good actors in a lot of bad films, right? Mm-hmm. I think this movie almost didn't get one casting decision correct.
I agree.
I think as much as you hate her, Shailene Woodley probably had the best performance out of everybody. She had to do the least, but I think she had a decent performance.
Yeah, she was fine.
I think even down to like, I know Pete Davidson's there for the comedy relief. Didn't work for me. Pete Davidson's not my cup of tequila. And then the black friend at the hospital, his lines weren't really that good as the comedy relief. America Ferrera didn't really do it. Seth Rogen, Paul Dano, Allison. No, I'm sorry. I'm getting it mixed with the creator. But not to hate on the movie. I'm just like, it's just tough because casting's so important. And none of these roles made sense to me. You know, nobody looked like the actual character. They just looked like a person that got casted in the film.
Yeah.
I'm roasting this film. I don't mean to roast this film because it wasn't actually that bad as much as I'm complaining about it. But there's so much talent on that set.
A lot.
It's just a lot of things went wrong in this film.
Wait, what did you think about Sebastian Stan?
Oh, I didn't think he was that bad. But low-key, I kind of have stock in Sebastian Stan. I like him.
You bought stock in him?
Yeah, I kind of got stock in him. You know, like
No,
I think he's kind of going to do well. I think for what he was going for how misfire everyone else did, he didn't misfire that bad for what he was going for.
Yeah.
He didn't nail it 100%, but it wasn't a misfire.
You know what made me think? It made me think that he could have done that weird Jared Leto character better in the Anne Hathaway where he was playing the
Oh, yeah.
we work guy. When I say we, you say work. We.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, work.
We.
Sorry. Work. Sorry. Missed it.
We're tired. It's fine.
You know who I thought would be good in this Paul Dano character for the lead?
Who?
Who's the charming guy in Bridesmaids?
Oh, is he Irish?
Yeah, I know he's a little older and he's only charming probably because he has that accent, but I think like that quirk would have worked really well for this movie. He's probably too old.
Chris O'Dowd.
Yeah.
Or I think that's what he's
Yeah. Sorry, I'm everywhere. Do your thing.
Well, no, that's okay. I think I can't really speak on who would have been better without seeing the actual guy because I just don't know what they were going for. I just don't know what they were going for.
Yeah.
I would love to know what they were going for because I was very confused. Okay. Let's get to our Rose and Thorn. Back on track. Assad, do you want to start?
Yeah. Are we doing rose or thorn?
Rose.
My rose for the film. I'm actually. Will you start?
Yeah.
Actually.
Because again, look at. I wrote it down. My rose was. It's interesting because now I feel dumb saying it because Assad said it was such the worst part of the movie. But I thought it was cool how they depicted the pandemic. I thought it worked. So sue me. I thought it was not.
Aren't you an anti-vaxxer?
We're not a politics podcast. No, my arm was sore for 8 days. Fully vaxxed and waxed.
Boosted loser.
No, I really liked how they depicted the pandemic. I thought it wasn't heavy-handed. It was kind of like a under five, which is what they call someone on a soap opera who has under 5 lines. It felt like kind of not even a background character, but maybe a little bit more than a background character. And I thought that was cool. And they didn't talk about it a ton. It was just there. Like people had their masks on, and the nurses had like 2 paper masks on, or a paper mask and then a cloth mask on top of it. I was like, oh my God, I used to do that. When I went out, I'd always have 2 of those blue masks on because I didn't have the N95 or whatever. And I was like, oh, it's just like a subtle thing that nobody said anything about. It was just there. And I thought that was really cool. They also did, in the GameStop scenes, they have, one of the storylines is that there's this kid, Anthony Ramos, who works at GameStop. And he buys some stock in it. And his annoying boss, just keeps telling him to like put his mask over his nose. Like how many times did you see that? Like I took a college course even earlier this year and we had to still wear our masks and teacher was always just like, it's just so funny. You remember seeing that all the time. It's so dumb and annoying. And you're like, okay.
I'm going to be honest, Sarah. I was a nose out guy with the masks.
Of course you were. We know. Say less. You don't even have to say that. The sky is blue. We know. How many times have you had COVID?
I think 4.
6 to 7?
4, well.
6.5.
Have I had it, or is it government conspiracy?
If you don't test, it doesn't count.
I haven't been able to taste anything in 2 years.
This is terrible. We're joking, guys. We're just having a good time.
Yes. Be safe out there, please. Be safe.
We know that people have died. It's very sad. But if you don't laugh, you cry. I also really liked.
You got 2 roses?
You're all negative and curmudgeon, so I might as well bring the positive, bring the light. I'm just kidding. I love you. It's fine. We're just joking. I really like the scene, and I'm interested to see what you think because you probably thought it was corny and dumb. But the gas station scene with America Ferrera, and guys, stream this movie when it's on streaming in like 2 days. Like it's fun to pass the time. It's fine. But there was a scene where America Ferrera was at the gas station, and she plays a nurse, and she's $150,000 in debt or whatever, and she buys the GameStop stock. and it's wherever they live, Boston or everywhere was cold. Did you notice that too? Everywhere everyone lived was cold.
Yeah.
Nobody lived in California. Everyone was in parkas and beanies. I know a lot of it took place in Boston, but everybody else was also in someplace cold. Sorry, go ahead.
No, another cheat that we've learned, layers always look good on camera. So when you guys are watching movies, like, they'll always put layers on. Any excuse to make the talent cold, because the layers look better on wardrobe. Go ahead.
Yeah, see, like, if I was just, there's a microphone over here. But if I was just wearing this, it's like, it's plain, it's boring, but this, like, adds some dimension to, gosh, you're just giving away all the secrets, Assad. Movie
Sorry.
magic. Okay, so she's filling up her, 2012 Honda Accord, and she's just like, this part, I was like, why are they standing out in the cold? Do you ever stand out in the cold when you're filling up your car with gas, or do you sit inside your car?
Well, I am rich, so someone fills up my car for me. Peasant.
Where do you live? They do have that in states, right? Like there's certain states in California.
I live in Koreatown. It's poverty-stricken.
So when someone's filling up your tank, you mean they steal and then they put it in their own?
No.
They're like, we got you, sir.
No, they're urinating in it.
And then they pee in your gas. So anyways, we're suspending our disbelief. So they're standing outside, just like freezing their asses off in parkas, like filling up their tanks. So she's got her car, and then this guy comes up in like a Range Rover, and he's filling up his car, and they have a little conversation, and it was cool. I liked it. It was kind of like they were distanced from each other, didn't have their masks on, so they're like, oh man, it's crazy to see someone's face these days, which I felt, and I thought that was kind of cool. Like, that worked for me. And it also that little scene spoke to how, during the whole pandemic, we're all sitting there saying, oh, our heroes, our frontline workers, our first responders, there are, what do we call essential workers? And yet we didn't do literally anything for them. We're just like, thanks for putting your life at risk. Keep doing it, please.
Yeah.
You have to go to work, Amazon workers, because you're essential workers, and nurses, put your lives on risk. But, we're not going to give you any extra money for it. Like, we're just going to be like, thanks. Is that correct? I mean, did we give them extra money? Maybe I didn't hear about it.
With the nurses, the essential workers?
Yeah, like essential workers. Maybe they got a little bump in pay, but anyways. I thought that was really interesting. They kind of he was like, oh, you're an essential worker. Like, thank you for all that you do. And I was like, give her some money, dude. But I call that a verbal tip. In the service industry, we call that a verbal tip. It's like when I used to wait tables and people would be like, oh my gosh, you were just so great. Thank you so much. You were just the best. This is the best meal we've had. This is the best service we've ever had. And then you look down and they gave you $0 or like $1 on a $50 tab. And you're like, it's called the verbal tip. And that was what happened in that scene. And it worked for me. Those are my roses. On to you.
I actually thank you for reminding me. I forgot that scene happened. That scene actually worked.
Cool.
I felt like there was some charm between those two.
Yeah, she's great. I'm telling you.
Is she great?
I think she's good.
Oh, I would like to see her play. I feel like she was just playing the same person as she did in Barbie.
Yes.
So I would like to see her play a little something different, but maybe she's just really good at that role, My rose was a single line, and this is a victim of, we love trailers, but it was such a good moment that it didn't get sullied by seeing it in the trailer, but it's cool to have people who are middle to lower class holding a baby, trying to be quiet. Two parents are talking, and Shailene Woodley's like, how much money did we make yesterday? It's like $4 million. She's like, how much the day before? $5 million. Then she looks at me and the baby's sleeping. She's like, babe, we're really fucking rich. I thought that moment worked really, really well. Now, it was only one line and like maybe 10 seconds of a scene, but I thought it was really cool how they did that. We've all kind of wished to have that moment of being a millionaire all of a sudden. And that actually got me invested, that part in that scene. I was like, oh, I'm on board.
Cool. Yeah, that was a cool moment.
Yeah.
And then did you like the way that they cut it with the rich wife? I liked her.
The rich wife?
Seth Rogen's wife?
Oh yeah, she wasn't bad. They didn't give her a lot of burn.
Yeah, she didn't have a lot of stuff. What's her name? Let me see if I can find it.
Let's look it up. I'm going to go to my pit while you're looking it up.
Olivia Thirby.
I'm going to go to my thorn while you're looking it up. Do you have a thorn?
Yeah.
Sarah, there's a thing happening in film that I've become a new snob about.
Uh-oh.
It's a recent snobbery thing. Isn't that so cool when you can discover stuff that you're like, oh, I'm a snob about that, turns out.
Snob.
A new thing,
like
a new thing I can be a snob
great.
about.
As we get older, you just you get set in your ways. But it's nice to find something new to be mad about.
No, because it's so necessary now, every movie, docuseries, documentary TV, a lot of the time they have to have this 2 to 5 minute montage of all the cell phone clippings of what's going on. It happens so much. If you watch a docuseries about like Alabama Rush, they won't tell the story of why it's become popular. They'll just take a lot of people's social media clips of why, and 8 of them pop up on the screen to show you that the world's in a frenzy about it. And it's almost never done well. Those montages almost never work for me. A bunch of cell phone footage put up so like we're supposed to get the momentum of this thing that's getting out of control. And I realized, I think it was the second to last movie I saw that did it. It was a docuseries I saw, Alabama Rush on HBO Max.
You watched that?
Yeah. Because,
the whole thing?
Yeah, because I don't know why. No, 20 minutes of the first episode.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, they started interviewing people that weren't hot, and so I turned it off.
Mm-hmm. I watched the whole thing.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, of course I did. What are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
They had a bunch of cell phone clippings, that they did in the beginning there. I think they did okay, but it made me realize in this movie that I'm like, oh, I think we're not being creative enough with that,
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, I was just going to say, it feels lazy because we've seen it so many times. And let's put you on the spot.
Yeah.
You don't have to come up with something, but I will say, Assad probably takes for granted he is an idea man. He can come up with a brilliant, new, fresh idea, the drop of a hat. So what do you say we replace that with?
That cell phone part?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just a scene.
Like, what's a way to get it across?
You can have, I'm spitballing here.
Well, I literally just sprung it on you.
But main guy is in Starbucks, and he takes a glance at everyone on their cell phone trading stocks. Does that make sense? So we don't get to see all the cell phone clippings, but he's looking around and sees everybody on their stock trading app.
But are we closing up on a phone or two? Like, how does he know?
There's probably some inserts there,
Okay.
but like that would be a cool moment where it's like takes a break from coffee and 17 people around him are doing the same thing. I think that gives us a cooler moment, and plus it puts our character in it.
Yeah.
Those things feel like such a departure from the film.
And it's just maybe a little bit different.
Yeah.
From what we've seen a million times. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. See, I told you. Fountain of knowledge.
What's your thorn?
My thorn is Paul Dano's casting.
Yeah.
More the character didn't work for me. I really like this guy. I think he's a very good actor. I think he makes interesting choices, as I said before. And I really just, more importantly, I just buy everything he says. Like, when you're watching him, you don't feel like he's acting, and that, for me, is the epitome of a good actor. And I just think that the character was like really weird. It was like really weird choice. I don't think they're readily available or easily available to find, but I'd love to see the character breakdown on this guy because I was just so confused as to like who he was.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, he almost seemed too soft-spoken.
Yeah.
And not authoritarian enough to be quirky.
It's so strange. It was like they tried to make an amalgamation of like 15 different people.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. This is all just, opinions and thoughts, but obviously we're all not just like one thing. I'm not just a weirdo. I'm also like, I don't know, what else am I? Funny or outgoing or, annoying, whatever you want to say. Like, we're all multifaceted, and that's fine. But when you're writing a character breakdown, and for anybody who not familiar with that term, it just means when you go to cast a film or when you're writing a film, you put out a breakdown is, I guess, when you're casting. So it's saying, this is the definition of who this character is. So if you gave me a script and it just said, Thorn, Paul Dano's casting and character didn't work for me. Okay, so that's what my character's line is. But how do you say that? Like, is she a peppy cheerleader who's, pissed off at her teacher? Or is she does that make sense? Like, is she a quiet nerd? Is she anxious all the time? Did her mom just die? Like, we need to have some context of who this person is as an actor and as casting agents and all of these people who work in the industry so that we know who to submit for it, how to play it, how to read for it. And then the casting directors know what to look for as well. And so I would love to see that breakdown. I hope that wasn't too much of a weird diatribe, but
Not at all.
I find those things interesting, and I would love to see it to kind of understand, like, what were we trying for here? Because it just seems so mismatched with the archetypes. It was like, you know, like you said, like the soft-spoken, like really sweet, kind, good dad, loving brother and son, and yet also, like, but to me that didn't match up with what he was doing, B, the way he was talking, and C, the way that they like dressed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just all very strange to me. But that was my thorn, was his casting, not because he did a poor job. I still think he did an excellent job. I think it was the writing, unfortunately, was lacking for that.
What's our next category, kiddo?
There's Gummy Rating.
Oh, guys, if you haven't seen the podcast or you don't know, Sarah is a big fan of marijuana edible gummies. So we don't do 1 to 5, as in 1 is bad, 5 is good. We do how many gummies do you need to make this show good? The less the better. It's like golf. Right, Sarah? Did I explain that?
You did such a good job. I was dancing the whole time.
So like when we go see a bad movie, it's like, damn, we needed 5 gummies to get through that son of a bitch. You know, so if you get like 1 gummy or no gummies, that's like a perfect rating. So I've led that up. Now, I don't rate them. I'm not as big as an edible person as Sarah. Sarah's high right now. Look at her eyes.
That's just my eyes. Sad, you're gonna upset my mom.
I know. I'm sorry, Chris. Your daughter doesn't do edibles that often.
She doesn't care, but she thinks that other people care.
Oh, Chris, no one cares.
It's legal. It's fine.
Yeah, it's perfectly legal.
Guess what's in this cup? Nothing anymore, but it was wine. Also legal.
So what's your gummy rating?
Ooh, that was probably really loud. Sorry, guys. Okay.
Oh, BL8NLY says how many milligrams, Sarah?
10 now. I've upgraded. I started with 5s, upgraded to 10s.
Damn, 10 milligrams would put me on my ass.
Oh yeah. I've got a 75er.
What the hell? How'd you get that?
Bought it.
Because I'm not a bitch, that's why.
I bought it, bro. Fucking got it delivered to my house, and I paid the girl cash, and she left. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, so 10. So we're talking 10s, but that's just my own personal tolerance.
Mm-hmm.
Been through some hard times and been really leaning on, what do they call it? Substances for that.
Yeah.
To get through it.
Real hard times, or is this a segment of white women problems?
White women problems, they're not that bad. No, real hard times.
Okay.
Dick. I'm so sore today. I went running yesterday outside, and I am very sore. And when I say running, I mean I had to pick up my pace to catch a light. And okay, gummy ratings. The gummy rating is 3.5.
Oh, okay. So you need quite a bit of gummies to get through this.
Out of 5.
Out of 5. Yeah.
Oh, it's on the edge of middle, but leaning toward a little bit more than normal.
Yeah,
now,
we bitched and moaned for like 40 minutes about this movie. It's not that bad of a watch.
not
It's a
bad.
decent time. You're not like hating being in there.
No, yeah, it wasn't like, ugh, like Oppenheimer, ugh, shoot me. This was like, you know, it was fun, it was fast, and I didn't get bored, and I didn't even have any snacks. I didn't get bored, so that was good. This is positive. I think it was charmingly mediocre. Just like me.
Yeah, that's a great way to describe it. Charmingly mediocre. Yeah. It's
I'm gonna write that in my dating profile. I'm charmingly mediocre.
It's like the high school kid that used to be cool, you know? And then you visit him 5 years later, and it's like, oh, he has a little bit of it left, but, you know, he's balding.
Yeah, there's something there, but it's not great.
Yeah.
Still wearing that jacket. I think it had some good actors, although Paul Dano was miscast. But I think he is a good actor, and I think that helps a lot. Like, if you make this movie with terrible actors, it would be really bad.
Yeah. I'm not going to rate it, guys. This is Sarah's show.
That was it?
I just push the buttons. But we used to do, if you've been following our podcast for a long time, we used to start off with trailer trash, because our favorite part of the movie is the trailers, where we pick the best and worst trailer. We put that at the end now, because we think you guys let us know, do you like us getting right into the movie, talking about it? Sometimes we bullshit, and people are like, get to the movie, man. But are you ready for trailer trash, Sarah?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm very impressed that you knew what segment was next. Good job. All right, trailer trash. We saw some good trailers because, like I said, the holidays are coming up, so I think we got some exciting stuff happening. And when I say good, I think I mean we see so many movies now that you start to get a lot of the same trailers.
Yeah.
Which we still, I'd say about 70% are things we've already seen. But there have been some exciting new trailers that I hadn't even heard of or seen. I know Assad watches them on YouTube because he's a nerd, but I just saw them for the first time and I was like, oh, there's just some new exciting trailers. So my least excited to see is a film called Napoleon, which, by the way, I'm so confused. Why does everybody else have a accent in it and Joaquin Phoenix is just, hey guys, what's up? How's it going? Why are you from California? You're Napoleon. I literally leaned over to Assad and I was like, serious question. He wasn't American, right? He was French, right?
He was born in Studio City, I think.
Okay, got it.
Napoleon was.
Makes way more sense now. That's on me. You know what? Sorry, Joaquin. I don't know. I feel like I've seen this movie a million times. If I wanted to watch this movie, I would just watch Braveheart and not have to watch Joaquin Phoenix slur his way through his words because
Yeah, guys, I think what makes Sarah and I bad movie critics is that there's a lot of genres we don't really rock with. An old historian, button-wearing military leader in the 19-whatevers doesn't really get either of us going.
More so you. I don't.
You don't mind
it's not
it?
an automatic no for me. But I know you hate this. But you were excited about that one.
It looked good, and I genuinely, I bullshit a lot, but I genuinely do not like watching Joaquin Phoenix act.
You don't?
I don't. Do you?
No, I don't like Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh no, I really struggle in his movies. He's so self-serious, it bleeds through the character for me.
Yes.
I can't not see him whenever he's playing a role. So to get over that in the trailer, I was like, oh, this actually looks kind of interesting. I don't think I was out. Usually when I see his face, I'm like, I'm off. I can't watch this. But I think they did a good job with the trailer.
By the way, I had no idea that you felt that way because you always tease me about hating him. But yes, calling him self-serious is the perfect definition. Jeez, oh man, I don't know. Do your thing. People can do whatever they want. But when you see him in an interview, he's just that's the question you're going to ask? You're like, God, be a bigger dick, dude.
I watched The Joker, which was, don't let bros make movies, guys. Let's stop letting bros make movies.
Hold on, that was a very popular film.
I know a lot of bros liked it. A lot of bros were like, oh, it's so deep, bro.
This is so cool.
He shot Robert De Niro in the fucking face.
Killing people is fucking sick,
it was just, I was like, this is a piece of shit movie. And I was like, oh, this is the worst thing I've ever seen until I saw him accept the award for it. I was like, oh, this is like the Joker's sequel.
It's it's almost like he's playing at being weird and uncomfortable to be like, I'm a serious artist.
Yeah.
I'm going to start doing that.
Sarah, we got some good questions in the chat.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah, self-serious. Be serious. Oh, my God. You got so much trauma?
I don't even like being on film. I just do it because it's in me. I have.
Oh, my God. Are you okay? Are you okay?
That's the question you're going to ask me?
Oh,
That's
sorry.
the question you're going to ask me. Give me a whiskey. Sorry, I don't know if he's a drunk, but he sounds like one, right? That says the girl with wine in her cup. Let's get to the questions.
Corshel says, how many gummies does Sarah rate The Irishman? Ooh. It's a great question, Corshel. She doesn't even remember the film.
I don't think I saw it. Did I see it?
You probably didn't. Remember, we went to Christmas with your family, and you were doing something with them, and I stayed in the hotel and watched the 3-hour movie.
No, I never saw it. But I would have never seen it. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Assad told me I would hate it.
Yeah. And Jericho says his movie hot take is he hated Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Jericho.
I liked that movie, but
yeah,
listen,
Jericho.
it's all right. They can have their opinion. I don't know.
Come on, Jericho. You fucking drunk. 8 whiskey sours.
That's the best part of that movie.
5, 10, 8 whiskey sours.
Why does Quentin Tarantino love feet so much?
Quentin Tarantino loves a foot.
Okay, I wanted to also talk about the girl Margaret Thiali from that movie.
Please.
I don't know her last name, but you know what I'm talking about. That was the first time we were introduced to her. She's pretty fire, right?
She's great.
Yeah, she's got some stuff
Like
coming
her.
up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, most excited to see. Are you ready?
Yes.
Salt Burn.
Jacob Elordi.
Oh my God, it was so cool.
Euphoria fans, Jacob Elordi is here to stay.
Do you think so? Is he a good actor? I don't know. I never
Yeah,
really
he's playing Elvis in the Priscilla movie.
more Elvis movies.
I know, but they made it about Elvis's wife, which I think they should have called it Elvis's wife.
It'll
but it's
still be
called
about
Priscilla.
him, for sure. If
Yeah.
there's a white man in it, it'll be about him, even though it's her first name as the title.
Do you love a white man movie?
Of course I do.
What's your favorite white man movie?
Good Will Hunting.
That's a very white man movie.
How about
for
them
sure.
apples? It's the whitest of the white. Like, it's in Boston, of course. It's very white. Like,
It comes with an Aeropostale gift card.
Saltburn. The cast looks excellent. We've got Barry Cogan from,
Banshees.
thank you. I loved him so much in that movie.
He was stellar in that role.
Holy crap, what an actor. I gotta go back and find some other movies he's been in. Whew, man, he nailed it. So he looks great in this movie, and when it started on his face, I was like, sold, I'm in. And then Rosamund Pike, who we love from Gone
Yes.
Girl, and I Care a Lot. I Really Care a Lot, that Netflix film, which we really liked a lot. She was so good in that. She's great, I think. And Carey Mulligan. She's an amazing actress. She's one of my favorite actresses.
Bangers.
So stacked cast. And it looks very stylized and like weird and cool.
Yeah.
So excited to see it. I hope it's not too weird.
Yeah.
'Cause if it gets too weird, Assad will like it, but I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah. A student is invited to an eccentric classmate's estate for an exciting summer, and it's described as
Hold on, I'm acting it out as you read it. Go ahead.
a psychological thriller drama. That your boob hurts. There you go.
Why'd I go for the big one? It's always the big one, causing me trouble. Oh, my mic, sorry. You guys must think we're unhinged, which is correct, a correct assessment. That's fun, we should do that more. I want to act out more log lines.
We're just gonna do that for now. Your improv class.
Yeah.
Trailer that is bad for me. The more I see it, this is like I don't know. What's something that like the more you look at it doesn't look good? Me.
Like the closer, I think that's what they say, right? Like,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
isn't that the line from Clueless?
Yeah. The more I see Next Goal Wins trailer, it's amazing how far Taika Waititi is getting from what I thought he would be in film. So that trailer now we've seen 200 times, and I hope it's good. And maybe it's just a poorly cut trailer about an American, I don't know, not American coach, a British coach that goes to American Samoa about a bad soccer team that he tries to coach. They just want to win one or maybe get one goal. But it looks like Taika's really leaning into goofy and not meaningful, which I thought his meaningful stuff meant a lot when it was shouldered by Goofy, you know? And now it looks like he's like, after Thor Ragnarok, he's kind of really leaning into that. Kind of a bummer there. And I'm with you. I think Saltburn was the best trailer we got.
Yay, I'm so excited.
Yeah. Are you hot to trot for Jacob Elordi, or does he look too young for you?
No, nobody looks too young for me. I love the
Creeper, what the fuck?
I love the young men. No, God, Jeff's gonna kill us. No, I don't. I never watched. I don't know who he is really. I recognized him from Euphoria, but I don't really care about him either way. But maybe after this movie, I will.
Give me 1 second, because we do have a request for you to do more improv.
Yes, you're lying.
So, no, and it's one of our favorite followers too. T Rose Bunny Adventures. She shows us so much love. Thank you so much.
We gotta hire her to do our marketing because we don't have any money, but she always is posting stuff for us. It's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you so much. You're always so supportive of us. We really appreciate it. So we're going to do one more improv just for her on Next Goal Wins, and this is Sarah as the Dutch American football coach faces the option of being fired or accepting an almost impossible task to convert the American Samoa national team, considered one of the weakest football teams in the world, into an elite squad. You're one of my favorite actors because I know how talented you are. That was shit.
No, that was great. At the end, I was like, I'm gonna do it. Did you see that? Did you get it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you got it. Let's ask T Rose what she got because I bet she liked it.
They say you're wilding tonight. Jericho says you're wilding tonight.
I'm always wilding. I don't know.
She's a little stir crazy because we haven't potted in a while. It's good to have you guys back.
He's in a good mood today. That's the difference.
She's in a good mood, yeah. And while we were gone, we missed our pod family. And it's so cool. We just started this pod a couple months ago. And it's so cool the people that have been there in the beginning have been with us these couple months. People like Jericho, people like T-Rose. Thank you for tuning in because it's such a small crowd that we gather, but it's growing slowly. And we really appreciate you guys tuning in. We have a lot of fun doing it. And don't take for granted the time you have watching our dumbasses talk about film.
Very much what he said. Very much what he said. No, I love on Saturdays when I get to go and talk to you guys in the chat. It's so fun. And I think I'm a little punch drunk because I haven't slept since I've been home.
Sarah's been in Greece, guys, for like 10 days, so sure, her hours are all messed up. I wrapped over the weekend in Toronto, so we were both out of the country, but my Toronto was just East Coast time. I'm good.
Yeah.
They're struggling.
I wake up at 3 a.m. and I'm like, time for Chardonnay and a salad. It's so weird. It's just like, I'm like, oh no, it's not 7 p.m., it's 3, and you need to go back to sleep, you crazy person, and I just stay awake.
Smooth's in the chat. Say hi to Smooth.
Hi, Smooth. Twice in one day. What a guy.
Here's the thing, guys. Thank you, Castro, about my battle. I appreciate you watching. We were only going to do one live today because we did see The Creator as well. David Washington starring a sci-fi thriller. Sarah only wants to do this live. We're going to film it right after this. Maybe if you guys guilt trip her, we'll stay live. But what do you think, Sarah?
I don't care.
She has to do an outfit change. Let's just pull back the curtain, guys. Should we tell them about the honesty about our pod, Sarah?
Yeah.
Sarah comes in here and we film, but she brings 3 outfits.
Yeah.
So you guys think we film them on different days. It's called production value, right? So it looks like, oh yeah, they're filming a lot. But a lot of times when we're in here, we'll film like 3 or 4 at the same time.
Did you bring an outfit change?
I didn't bring an outfit change. I was working today. Did you?
Oh no, I wasn't working today.
I was just sitting around with Chardonnay.
I was working with Chardonnay, but I don't think my boss knows about this podcast, so hopefully he won't watch it.
LAV says it's a perfect time for a Grease improv. What do you got, Sarah?
Grease?
Take it away. Action.
But now there's nowhere to hide since you pushed my love aside. Don't make that fucking face. That was good.
That was pretty damn good. Did you guys know Sarah has a really good singing voice?
Was that bad?
No, it's really good.
I looked up and you were like...
No, I was really surprised. Sarah has a very young, good singing voice. She has a mixtape coming at Christmas time called... Guys, thanks for tuning in. The lights went out.
The lights went out.
We didn't pay our electric bill.
Put the camera back on me.
Okay.
Bye, guys. We love you. Thanks for tuning in. And tune back in, or who knows which one will come out first, but we got The Creator coming soon.
And Killers of the Flower Moon soon. Good movies are back. Big movies back.
We're back, baby.
We're back. Take it easy, guys.
Bye.